Today in the crypto space, we see the market showing a bit of strength. Bitcoin right around $107,000, Ethereum going sideways, and the rest of the crypto space, the altcoins, getting a bit of a bounce to the upside. Sui, Doge, Kaspa, VeChain, Hyperliquid, and a few others showing some strength. In today's video, I want to talk about the general market. I want to use Bitcoin as a leading indicator, but more importantly, I want to talk about one project that is part of a very popular narrative, and that project is called VVAIFU. So you know what? Let's talk about the news. Let's analyze the charts, and let's strategize to capitalize. Welcome to the channel. My name is Mike, and let's get right into it, guys. If you're new to the channel, welcome. On the channel, we talk about cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and all the altcoins, looking for opportunity. Whether we go up or down, bearish or bullish, it doesn't matter. All we want to do is stay one step ahead of the market so that we can capitalize on any of the volatility. And if you appreciate the strategy, subscribe to the channel, click the bell so you don't miss out on any of my future videos, including the live streams at 8 p.m. EST, where we talk about crypto news and price action. Guys, if you have any projects you want me to cover here on the channel, feel free to let me know in the comment section below. You can hit me up on the socials. The links are in the description. Better yet, guys, join the Discord. The Discord is where it's at. Lots of good alpha, trade setups, fundamentals, and learning material. The best part is it's absolutely free. All right, guys, let's begin. Let's see what's going on here. Do we have any opportunities in this market? And I feel like we do. Today, we've been showing a bit of green, maybe a bit of relief, maybe a nice reversal. Now that the overall drama, emotion has settled, now maybe we can start seeing some real price action and possibly some price action in our favor, some bullish price action. The market cap currently is at about $3.8 trillion, getting a very nice bounce to the upside, pretty much at previous highs. So guys, the market is still looking strong. We do see trading volume coming down significantly. That's a bit of an issue. As you see the spike to the upside, you want to see that market participation is totally involved and in consensus with this pump. So I would love to see volume, but unfortunately that's not the case. So we got to be very careful here. However, we could see a spike of volume as soon as FOMO kicks in. If we see Bitcoin start breaking the previous highs and getting into price discovery, FOMO might kick in here, guys, and then we could see volume kick in as well. These squeezes to the upside are very, very aggressive and obviously very emotional. We do also see that Trump, as far as the token goes, did cool off a little bit. It's still at $42, guys. It's still a large market cap. We have Millennium dipping down 24% for today. Guys, we need some of that liquidity to get back into the market. The reality is we got to be real. These coins, these meme coins, have no utility, and as soon as the market starts to realize that they are boring, the reality is we'll start seeing that capital flow right back in. But in addition to that, we are seeing the market cap work in our favor. More capital coming in, more retail coming in, buying some dips, accumulating into some projects. And you know, ultimately, these meme coins are great marketing so that we can get more capital into the space and realize how bullish and amazing the crypto space is. Another gainer today, AI16Z, great move to the upside, nice recovery for the project. Obviously, that project has been taking a massive beating. I am in long positions. I bought spot. I am fully loaded, ready to go on AI16Z. I think a recovery is going to be around the corner, given that the overall narrative in the agents narrative, all the agents and all the different sub narratives of that, super narrative, is currently struggling and has been struggling, getting into a very undervalued scenario. And my opinion is that when there's blood on the streets, the wolves come out to play, and we have to be thinking like wolves right now. We got to go, buy up all that fear. And this is exactly what I plan on doing. And obviously, guys, today's video is on VVAIFU. We're going to talk about Bitcoin first as a leading indicator. We want to see how Bitcoin is doing first before we come up with a setup on VVAIFU, and obviously the general market. So let's get right in here. Let's see what's going on with Bitcoin. Kind of going sideways here, of course, looking pretty good at almost previous high. We have Tether getting a bounce. I'm not sure what's going on here, but obviously this is a slight volatility, nothing crazy here. Solana looking strong right now, guys. You gotta admit, after this retracement, it could be done. Solana could be ready to rock, right? So if you've been getting involved in the Solana narrative, it could be one of the better gainers in the last while. And in fact, I built a nice position on Solana. Small leverage position. I want to make sure that I have some of the exposure. Some people are thinking that Ethereum is going to wake up very soon, and it's very possible, guys. Very, very, very possible. But believe me, if Ethereum wakes up, so will Solana. I believe that it's going to be a tag team match. It's going to be a tag team match between Ethereum and Solana and maybe some others, right? We do have some larger caps definitely joining the party here, showing a lot of muscle in the last little while. And like I mentioned, top 10 market cap projects could definitely keep up with Ethereum nowadays, given that Ethereum's market cap has been stagnant at about $400 million, 400 billion, sorry. And if you start looking at all the top altcoins, if you add them all together, top 10, maybe top 5, you get very close to 400 billion. So the reality is, guys, the strength is in the entire top 10 right now, and we could see a lot of strength in the next little bit. Okay, so Cardano looking okay after a retracement, still okay, holding steady. We have Chainlink showing a lot of strength. AVAX is in a good zone, guys. I'm interested in AVAX. I feel like building another margin position on AVAX. Sui has been showing tons of power. One of the top performing projects in the last little while didn't flinch on that dip. It's all part of that Made in America narrative. And obviously Trump, guys, Trump is still here. It did dip down a little bit, but guys, the Trump token is here. Now, I feel like ultimately what's the most healthy thing to do is to see the liquidity enter right back into the space. And Trump will have its moment. The token might have some utility in the future, but I choose to ignore it. Hyperliquid getting a nice bounce, guys. If you guys been following me on the Discord and checked out that video that I did release on Hyperliquid, we're doing pretty good. I feel like this is the bottom-ish level where we could start really breaking. We're actually breaking out on the lower time frames, which is very healthy. 16% to the upside, one of the top gainers for today on in the market. So really good there for Hype. If you're involved, congratulations. Good move there to the upside, and a lot of good gainers today. A lot of good gainers, 7%, 10%. I would say that a good average of 5% to the upside. But look, Caspa looking good. We have FET doing okay. We got Gate, doing good. We got Bonk doing great. A lot of good projects, guys. 13% for Phantom. It was actually up a little bit more earlier today. I think, guys, Phantom and Sonic Phantom, same thing, severely undervalued, guys. If you look at all the metrics, it is completely oversold, right? If there's any project that you should be buying right now, go look at the chart, go look at the metrics, go look at the stats. Phantom right now is severely undervalued, guys. So I got into a long position as well, low leverage long. Obviously I have a big bag of Phantom and Sonic, whatever you want to call it. They're both the same thing at the current moment, so just keep that in mind. I think it's a really good project, and as we keep on going down, we see a lot of good opportunities and a few dips of Jupiter coming down. I'm wondering why. Well, the reason being is that I got really hyped up with the Trump tokens and all of that, so that's good. But really, the market's looking okay today. Not a full recovery, nothing to be super euphoric about, but maybe proof of life, the sign of life that we're getting ready to recover, guys. Let's move on. I know you're here to talk about price action. Let's begin. We'll take a look at Bitcoin first, and then we'll take a look at VVAIFU. The reason why I want to take a look at Bitcoin, because it is a great leading indicator. Guys, if Bitcoin starts to show a strength right here, right now, we know that projects like VVAIFU and many other are eventually going to get this capital rotated into them. And if Bitcoin starts to break out, we're going to go for another move to the upside. And then people start taking profit on Bitcoin, we're going to see a lot of that rotation into the altcoin market. So guys, use it as a leading indicator. Let's take a look at this in a little bit more detail. So ultimately, yeah, we see good volume right here. You can't deny that. Good volume to the upside here on Bitcoin at previous highs. It kind of went into price discovery if you're looking at the Binance chart. Ultimately, we want to close a candle above that to be really secure, right? And the volume is looking good. Momentum back above, trending to the upside, guys. Uno reverse right here. If it gets overbought, Bitcoin's going to expand. It's going to start flying again. Now, the risk is that Bitcoin could suck liquidity out of the market. Again, the altcoins. Now, VVAIFU and the rest are part of that narrative where we start to see Bitcoin suck liquidity, people getting into Bitcoin, and we could get another temporary dip in that moment. However, there's two things that I got to consider. Number one, that will be temporary. Of course, rotation eventually will happen, and then altcoins will fly much harder than even the Bitcoin pump. However, I think that the sellers are done. I don't think there's any more sellers in the market. And if there is, there's very few. So ultimately, we might at least show strength, or the altcoins might at least show strength by going sideways while Bitcoin runs. And Bitcoin dominance will still go up. However, guys, we're waiting for a big reversal on the Bitcoin dominance to see altcoins show dominance for once, so that we can start seeing an altcoin season. And this is key for the remainder of the bull run, that we start getting some altcoin action, because the reality is some of these altcoins are even lower than the bear market bottoms. Very low right now, and they're so undervalued, and some great tech out there. And so be fundamentally bullish, guys. Make sure that you do those deep dives, you do the research, and the fundamentals are much more important when we are at very, very scary scenarios, because you can rely on the fundamentals. Charts, at the end of the day, they're good when the price action is basically respecting TA. When it disrespects TA, when we have a black swan event, or an event such as the Trump token sucking liquidity, TA kind of gets thrown out the window, guys. So you got to be careful there. Fundamentals you can't throw out the window. Ultimately, they stick around and they get built upon, and the communities don't leave, right? So something to consider. Now, Bitcoin looking okay. Trend oscillator looking bullish on the daily. Great stuff. Let's look at the 4-hour, getting a bit of an EMA cross after a bit of a pullback and bearish divergence. Maybe we're going bullish again. And we have the trend oscillator on the 4-hour. It did get overbought. Do we get completely oversold? It could be possible. The problem is if you look at this and you look at the yellow line, we're still in the uptrend regardless. So we can get a bounce here and go for another expansion to the upside. We see volatility pushing to the upside, which is the orange line. The orange line getting overbought means that we're in the short term going to start continuing to the upside, guys. So, and we also see the expansion that came in, the red expansion. It looks short-lived. It looks weak. Look at this one, the smaller one. Maybe this is going to be even smaller and it'll be done. And we're going to get Bitcoin overbought on the daily, and the 4-hour showing a lot of strength right now. So Bitcoin is looking bullish. What can I say? It's looking bullish. The problem is that getting into Bitcoin right now is quite dangerous. The reason being is that you're buying a level of resistance, which is the previous high, right? You're a breakout trader right now. And of course, buying tops, even if they're local tops or previous all-time highs, they're very scary zones, right? But we can also consider, maybe a consolidation, maybe a sideways, a bull flag. Is that possible? I think that we're going to start moving, guys. I really do think that we're going to get into an extension level scenario and more or less start looking for 1.27, 1.618. I did this very loosely. I didn't include the wick, which you could, and so on and so forth. And just general area, I think that we can get up to 120K very easily and start expanding. And then at this level, we'll see altcoins catch up and rotation, and Bitcoin go sideways, maybe get a bit of a retracement, and that rotation will be very healthy for the altcoin market and giving us a little bit of that hopium that we need for our altcoin season. Okay, so that's that on Bitcoin. Bitcoin right now is either going to get rejected or it's going to do something magical in the next little while and reach 120. Now, what does that mean for the alts? A pullback on Bitcoin or sideways consolidation on Bitcoin is not that bad on alts, because people start to say, well, Bitcoin is holding up safely. It's not giving me profits or the opportunity to make profits. But instead of locking up my capital in Bitcoin, let me look for opportunities. Let me look for narratives. Let me look for charts with healthy risk to reward ratios. So that's one thing we got to consider. So VVAIFU could be in that zone that, ultimately it's in a very desperate phase in its price action. It actually got a decent swing failure pattern. Now, I'm not going to call it a swing failure pattern here on the daily just yet, but it did fall below previous lows. And whether you include the wicks or not, the reality is it is in that desperate zone. If you include this price action or just these bottoms, whatever the case is, we're in a very clear risk to reward ratio where a long is in your favor. You know where to invalidate your position. Your invalidation is literally the bottom of this wick. We got 2 wicks that came down there pretty much, no volume after that, and obviously you're in dip discovery at that point. So buying into right now into this level is not bad. Spot, of course, is obviously the best. If you're going to get into any margin positions, make them small so that you can give yourself a little bit of a a low liquidation point, because the reality is you're buying range lows, and it does seem like the market is showing a bit of strength. And if we get that strength, it's likely that we start to see VVAIFU return to its previous price action, and that wouldn't be a very safe area to say, we're getting back to the previous highs within the range, which is at about 133% to the upside. Nice, good volume, good accumulation range. We're just at the bottom of that accumulation range, and every time we came here, we got pumps, and we got pumps. We're back here. Are we going to get a pump? Or are we going to shake people out of their bags? Are we going to get stop losses triggered? Are we going to just basically stop hunt and cause a bit of noise down here that causes so much emotions, that shakes us out of our positions, and then finally pump? And that's so typical, especially after the trend being your friend for so long. So what we do have to understand is that the current scenario is that we have to look at the lower time frames. The daily is not really giving us too much of an edge, other than the fact that the daily time frame is now back within the structure, a very important level, previous support. And on the 4-day, you can see that the green candle is currently closed above that on the 4-hour. We're going to open another one and close another one, but we would love to close the daily above. And it looks like we're going to do that. Okay, closing the daily above would be absolutely good. But if you start looking at the 4-hour and you start looking at the trend, you start to see that momentum has been oversold for a good little while. Lower lows on the price action, and momentum is pretty much triple drives of Class C bullish divergence. Right, which means that it's a slight sign of divergence. However, it is still diverging at the horizontal level, desperate level. Okay, that's important. Now you can see that the 4-hour is overbought with regards to volatility. Now, do we get a bearish response? How strong is that bearish response going to be? And that's what we really want to see, is if the bearish response does not make a lower low, guys, we're good. We're good. We're ready to go. Now, what about the momentum? If the momentum gets overbought and volatility hangs out in overbought conditions, guys, we might break out and hit some higher levels and then start showing us the potential of a change of character. And the reason why I bring that up is because currently the trend is your friend. Lower lows and lower highs right into this price action. Okay, right in and driving right into support, right? And currently struggling to hold this level of support. Now, the beauty behind this is that we can track the trend a little bit easier. Now, I know that these it's not that clear, but if we can break above the trend, make a higher high, and obviously the higher high would be this one, guys. If we break above 0.07, it's a big higher high. But I'm expecting this. Of course, I don't know, but I'm expecting this. A break of this, maybe a bit of a back test, and then start breaking above this zone. Previous high, point of control, 200 EMA on the 4-hour. All of this right here is a good level of resistance. But if you start seeing what I'm seeing, you start to see, a nice pivot point structure, a change of character, where we need to break this neckline, which is right around let's say 8 cents. We start breaking around this level, we start breaking into a zone where there's low volume, and we can actually break out and come back to the previous price action, which is all the way up here. So the beauty behind of where we are right now is that we can start looking for a healthy setup, and the setup is now. If the momentum continues moving to the upside, we can see the trend on the 4-hour is EMA's cross, green histogram bars to the upside, which is healthy, bullish divergence identified. And then if we go back into the daily real quickly, we can see that the daily momentum right now is potentially looking for a reversal. And why I say this is because volatility is completely overbought. We could hold the chop zone, which is at about 50%. Right now, it's approximately at 47, more or less, 42. EMAs are still facing down. I do realize the bearishness right here. It's still facing down right histogram bars, but the reality is we're at horizontal support. Okay, and a reversal, remember, these are lagging indicators. Now, if we do come down further, guys, we're in the abyss. You know where to stop yourself out. You know how to protect yourself. But if we end up reversing here based on the 4-hour, it might take some time, like I mentioned. And by the time we print this nice inverse head and shoulder scenario, we will get all the confirmations on the daily, and then we will start moving to the upside in a bigger way. So for me, it's about getting entries on the 4-hour and tracking the daily to see if we actually get that pivot, because the 4-hour looks like it wants to pump. And you'd be more than welcome to take profit based on the 4-hour. If we get to horizontal resistance, which is again about 8 cents, take a bit of profit, trail up a stop loss, because at this rate where we are right now, just getting to that zone, you're up 84%, which is great, which is a great trade. 84%, even on 2x, you've already over doubled your money. It's 160% to the upside. You've done great. So let's not be greedy, and let's just realize that the range is clear, and ultimately we do want to break above 9.3 cents, but it's going to take some time. And until the daily shows us bullishness, we are going to take time, and we will have the time to DCA and accumulate at lower levels. Guys, you obviously have to be really bullish on the narrative to get in speculative assets, which is the AI agent narrative. It is a narrative, a sub-narrative, which belongs to the Launchpad narrative, right? You can go on VVAIFU and launch your own AI agent, and it allows you to attach various features to it. And obviously the team is continuously working on improving and fixing issues that they have along the way, as typical software engineering does. And this is what we expect: speculative assets to become mainstream, and mainstream is too late. You know, that's the reality. If mass adoption, if we start to see this thing run and everybody, you know, everything looks bullish, maybe the price is going to be way too high there. We'll be overbought. Right now, it's clearly oversold, and it's clearly right now struggling, and that's where you usually get the best prices. All right, guys, if I've offered you any value, do the channel a massive favor. Slap the like button. It does really help out with the algorithm. If you want to follow me on the socials, the links are in the description below. Feel free to join the Discord, guys. The Discord is where it's at. Lots of good alpha, trade setups, fundamentals, and learning material. The best part is it's absolutely free. Guys, I'm going to be live tonight at 8 p.m. EST, where we talk about crypto news and price action. And if you have any projects you want me to take a look at, that is a great time and place for you to make those requests. I'll put them in top priority. Take care, guys. Have a good one. And don't forget, buy the dip.